people don't live intentionally. I
Mm.
think they just kind of, life happens to them instead of for them. And when they get more intentional, they can make decisions and make the choices. And then when they get intentional, fear pops up, right? They have this fear of, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. Oh my gosh, can I do that? Last time I tried, I failed. And so they live in this space where I'm afraid to move, or like a self-sabotage type of thing, because they get so far and they fear what's happening next. And I think once we help them get through some of those fears, or we stand alongside of them and help them see what they don't see about what they're thinking, they move forward quickly. And then you add reading their vision every day to it, they start to see the possibilities.
Hey guys, welcome back to another awesome episode of the Lifeonaire Show. My name is Jason Woj. I'm the host of the Lifeonaire Show, and I'm joined by Polish Peter, our co-host. And on the Lifeonaire Show, we help people make more, work less, and live awesome lives. Now, we have an awesome, super exciting episode ahead for you. Peter, tell them what it is.
Dude, so I feel like this is a Brady Bunch episode of Lifeonaire,
Brady Bunch.
right? I don't know if we can have like all these little monitors, but look, it's like a Brady Bunch. We got all the different coaches on here.
Oh yeah, I just
How cool is
switched the
that?
view. Yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can see all the different coaches we got on the line right here. This is great.
Yeah, so we got all of the coaches. We brought them here for this particular episode because we want to extract some wisdom out of every single one of them. I think at least one of them has got some lot of wisdom here, right? So we'll just shoot and see how it happens, right?
And I mean, you may not know that by looking at them, guys. So
Yeah.
if you're watching on video, don't neglect this. Listen, in all seriousness, the reason we ask the coaches, and we don't have all of them, we have many of our coaches on the line right now, is these people are changing lives around the world, actually, at this point. And if you combine their experience with helping people in their business and in their lives, we're talking over a few decades combined between all of them. And so they've learned not just a thing or two, but a whole lot about how to help people. What are the challenges that people have? How do you get people to where they want to be? And how do you help them live that vision in a way that maybe, wouldn't have been possible, or certainly would have taken a whole lot longer without them? And so we've asked the coaches to join us so that we can have a specific episode about helping you live your vision, creating a life and a business you love, and something that really you can get excited about. And maybe you don't have the availability, or coaching isn't ready for you yet, but we still want to tap the knowledge of our coaches to show you a glimpse of what's possible with their help, and so that you can start making tangible progress right now. I'm super excited for this, man. And by the way, Peter is also a coach. And so I don't know if I guess if you've listened before, you know that already, man. So you're a little bit playing both sides of the field here.
Yeah, so listen, so one of the first things I want to ask you, because I think this is going to be really impactful for the people listening to it, because we want to consider if somebody's listening on this particular episode and they have some form of a vision, have some kind of a place that they want to go to, but something is stopping them. One of my first questions for you guys is, what do you think is stopping most people from achieving their life that they want?
And by the way, when you guys answer, just say just this first question. Could you just say your name for everybody, just to introduce yourself?
Yeah.
And then give us your answer, because we want to acknowledge you guys for who you are and let people learn more about you.
Hey guys, my name's William Loyal. I'm with the T5 and Legacy Group. And one of the things that I've seen with new members that have came into our group, that they don't have a base established. They don't have a good written vision that they can put up on the wall or in the mirror on their bathroom, that they can kind of look and use it as a tool to move forward. And then a lot of times they don't have their financial budgets. They have no idea where they're at. And so in a lot of ways, it's about like whenever you're moving, and if you're in your house and you've lived there for 10 years, you can get up in the morning, brush your teeth, brush your hair, out the door you go, everything's good. But if you're in the process of moving and you got half of your boxes in one house, half of your boxes in another house, and then the others are in the moving truck, you have no idea where your toothbrush is at. You have no idea where your hairbrush is at. So when you wake up in the morning, you're in chaos right off the get-go. And by making that association to your vision and your budget, you're able to have a base established. That way you have something to build off of. And without that base, you're out there and you're having a lot of trouble. So that's one thing that we like to focus on in the beginning, is establishing that base. That way you have a solid foundation to start moving off of.
Man, I love that, William. And by the way, I love that accent, man. Austria? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Yeah. So
No, outer space.
outer space, right? So,
Australian, yes. Mhm.
by the way, William, so
You're
why
close.
do you think a lot of people don't have that stuff? Like they just haven't taken the time to do it. They don't know how to do it. Like have you when you encounter these new members that are coming in with these challenges, like have they explained this, or we don't know?
I think in a lot of ways, it's just never really been pointed out or taught in a lot of ways, or just exposed. That's one of the gifts that we have. We have the outside looking in perspective, that whenever you're personally attached to something, you just don't see stuff. And whenever you're on the outside looking in, you can give that perspective. And when somebody, it's just like a light bulb going off. Whenever somebody tells you something that is obvious, the light bulb goes off, and you get that, whatever you want to call it, whatever the fancy word is for that I can't come up with, the realization. Ooh, that's a big word.
Ooh, all right, here we go.
So you get that, and you start utilizing it, which builds the base. So
Got it. Love it, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, what else? What do you guys think?
Hi, my name's Steve Halverson. I am a co-coach in the Platinum Group. And I guess let's bring it a little bit closer home. We can always talk about all the members within Lifeonaire, but let's talk about us. We all started out as members as well, and came in with these exact same struggles that William was just talking about. Everybody had an issue going on, or our boxes were packed over here, and I'm sorry, William, I always know where my toothbrush is, but but we all came in with those same struggles. And so having people in front of us that have already gone through some of these similar situations, we're able to glean off of them and kind of focus. William was just speaking about the being too close to the problem, so you can't see what your problem is because you're right there. Where having that outside perspective, that really is the key to it.
Yeah, I love it. So like what I'm hearing from you is like being too close to the canvas, not being able to see that because you're so close to it. And William talked about the vision and the foundation, establishing that. What else are you guys hearing?
I'm Kathy Neubauer, and I think one of the biggest things is people don't live intentionally. I think they just kind of, life happens to them instead of for them. And when they get more intentional, they can make decisions and make the choices. And then when they get intentional, fear pops up, right? They have this fear of, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. Oh my gosh, can I do that? Last time I tried, I failed. And so they live in this space where I'm afraid to move, or like a self-sabotage type of thing, because they get so far and they fear what's happening next. And I think once we help them get through some of those fears, or we stand alongside of them and help them see what they don't see about what they're thinking, they move forward quickly. And then you add reading their vision every day to it, they start to see the possibilities. And as soon as they grasp onto that it is possible, then they charge forward. And it's just amazing to watch how quickly it works when they follow the process.
Kathy, so I just want, that, you just said something there. Why do you think people are afraid of that? Why, what is it? And, I'm even wondering, in the vision creation process, let alone pursuing it, it feels like people have this gap. There's something that's holding back. Why are people afraid of this?
I really think it's because they haven't experienced it before. And when they look at who they compare themselves to, they think they're not able, they're not capable. And so it's a self-belief that they can struggle with sometimes, that they're not deserving of it, they're not worthy of it, or it just doesn't seem like reality. Because I hear, I'm a realist. Some of the members will say, well, I'm a realist. That's dreaming. And if you don't give yourself the opportunity to, whatever you want to call it, maybe you don't call it dream because that seems unrealistic, but maybe you call it a goal for some people that are more logical thinking. And I think once they start to establish the possibilities, those that doubt may have to start smaller, right? Their vision might not be able to be as grandiose. They may have to take a smaller step to see, hey, I did that. Well, if I can do that, what can I do next? You kind of have to prove it to them that
Yeah.
they're capable.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is like there is a lack of belief, right? They may be not believing in this, and then they start comparing to other people, which even puts them deeper into this whole non-belief hole, those
Right.
kinds of things. Yeah. Love
Jackie,
that.
Brett, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so I'm Jackie Conkle. My husband Brett, we're co-coaches with Steve Halverson in Team Platinum. And to kind of piggyback off what Kathy's saying, so prior to finding Lifeonaire and maybe going to a Get a Life workshop and really figuring out that you are without a vision, you don't realize that you're without a vision. Again, life just happens to you. And what we've found is a lot of people, if you ask them what their vision is what someone else wants for them. In the most cases, it's what they think they should be doing based on what the world says you should or shouldn't be doing or having or wanting. It's maybe what their parents, their spouse, their friend group that they hang around with. If you're sitting with high achievers, maybe, you think you need to do all the things and build this big giant business that you don't even really want, but you think you want it because everyone around you has it. And so I think a lot of times it's, if you don't have a vision, someone else has a vision for you, right? And it'll just start to fill up your time and your life. It'll take your money, it'll take your time, it'll take your relationships, and you don't even realize it. You think you're working towards what you want. The problem is you're working towards what everyone told you you should want. And I found for myself that the Get a Life workshop really started to crack that shell, because the longer you live, the older you get, the more set into the world's vision for you you become. And as you go through that workshop, I think Wojo and Peter do such a great job of kind of taking that apart and making us see with like real world eyes. And so I find that when we have members coming into our mastermind groups, they've already at least kind of cracked that, and then we get to kind of work through it. But prior to that, man, people all over, they're just living a vision that's not even their own. I haven't found anybody, and there's probably somebody out there, but I haven't found anybody that's truly living their own vision outside of realizing these basic precepts. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's a great
so
point.
valuable.
Yeah. Garcia?
Yeah, I agree 100% with everything that's been said, especially with Kathy on the fear thing. I think a lot of our members come in with a lot of fear of can I do this? Fear of success, and I think the biggest challenge I think a lot of our members come in with is mindset. Right, their mindset is not correct. They have limiting beliefs. They may have, I just had a member the other day, a newer member. That has a good portfolio of real estate, has been very successful, but kind of hit a wall with the rising of prices and with the interest rates the way they are today. And in our conversation, she had mentioned that she had heard that throughout our community, sometimes there's money available for borrowing, and really didn't really believe that was an option for her. And so through some conversation, we were able to help her for a particular deal she's actually working on, helped her write up something that she was able to take to our group, and lo and behold, got it funded. So I think sometimes just cracking that mindset or helping them to shift their mindset is key as well. So I think a lot of it roots back off of fear, no vision, like Jackie, and I think everybody has great points. That all is the combination of those things that I think is part of what I've seen and what I've even experienced back when I was early in my walk with Lifeonaire.
I love this because I think if you, not only are we, listen, we are creatures of community, right? And so I actually just had this revelation the other day. So I'm going to Mexico in a few weeks on a vacation. So I'm eating a little cleaner than normal. And I was playing guitar at church, and I brought my own food, which already I feel weird, right? And then they're ordering pizza because like there's everybody's hey, you guys want pizza? And everybody's ordering pizza. They're like, you're asking me, you want any? And I felt different than everybody. And I felt like, man, I want to be like these people. And those people in real life, when we're talking about our vision, are the people we hang out with, right? And so their norms, their aspirations, their identity and perspective on success almost accidentally becomes ours, and not even in any kind of like weird, insidious, like hurtful way, but it's just easier to look at other people and be like, well, that's what I want. And so we're faced with the issue of really identifying what you guys had said. What do we really want? Like, what do we really, really, really want? And sometimes, by the way, the thing you want maybe cause some friction with your current community of people that you're around, and so that can be scary. It can also be scary when you put something down on paper, because now you can fail, right? You can, when you don't have it on paper, like, and you can just keep it in the back of your mind and just bury it behind the 50 other things you need to do that day, and you can keep it out of sight. Then you can kind of go along your day without any kind of really like, tension around not pursuing that thing. But when you have it front and center staring at you and you're not living it, now you can fail, right? And so that can be scary. So there's a lot of, and we spend, like Jackie mentioned the Get a Life. We spend time on this, both of these actually at the Get a Life. And so I love what you guys are saying, and I think it's so true. And I think, imagine if this was something that everybody had access to, and everybody does have access to it, but not enough people realize that. And so this is awesome. What are some of the traits in the members that come in that start to really make progress quickly? Like, what are the habits? What are the traits? What are the characteristics? What are the things they're doing, or the things that make them different? Maybe, and listen, like, everybody moves at a different pace, and this is not to say one's better than the other, but let's assume you want to move quickly towards your vision. Have you guys seen any common factors or elements of success that have helped people accelerate the degree in which they're able to pursue their vision and achieve the things they want, either financially, because I mean, finances is part of someone's vision, or with their time, or with their family, or whatever aspect of their vision they are looking to pursue? Have you guys seen any of that kind of stuff?
I think in the vision as a tool, once they have something established and written down, and they, like Kathy was saying, intentionally use it as the tool that it is made to be, that they have much more success. Where if they don't have that base or that vision written down, they just really have nothing to build off of. So I would say that is one of the main successes of successful members that use the tools that are right in front of them. And then also with the group, it puts in a level of integrity for the group members, because they're helping other people be accountable. And with being that, they have a self-awareness that they need to be accountable for what their actions and stuff. So there's just kind of a natural dynamic in the group that holds each other accountable, and they know that they can't come to a retreat or come to a meeting and say, just try to rattle something off and think that they're going to get by with it. So,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm also hearing there, William, is being around the right people that will help you live your vision.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes, very much so. There's a lot of people out there that just love to sit around and complain about things that they have no control over. And there are people that are held accountable for what they do, and they just they look for the best in things, and they build. And so you can definitely see the difference.
Love it. Let's keep it going. What else you guys got?
Jackie had something, or Brad?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people just have so much going on, and they have huge goals, and there's so much distraction. The first thing you need to do is cut some of that right out, because sometimes less is more. Ooh. And well, it's really, it's okay to say no, and that's the challenge we have, is we all want to please people. But if you really want to get yourself on track, it's okay to say no. And that's what's great about having a vision. It's kind of your guideline. If it doesn't align with that, that's your reason for not moving forward in that direction.
Yeah. And I would say the most successful members we have. I mean, first of all, being a member of a titanium coaching group, because there's the mastermind of all the people that are on the same track trying to, get to their vision and move through the 4 stages of prosperity. But the people that are the most successful in the group are active. And so they're utilizing their coaching. They have their vision solid. They are creating the goals and the waypoints and breaking it down to the action steps. And action steps need deadlines and accountability. And so not only utilizing their vision, but also their coaches, the mastermind group as a whole, and then their accountability groups. And the people that are really active in all of those areas and breaking it down to those smaller steps are the fastest growing, most successful in getting to their visions much quicker. And so I think it's just really just breaking it down to the tiniest part, that's that action step, and then giving it a deadline and accountability. It's impossible to fail when you do that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I just heard from both of you guys, like power of saying no and then taking action, right? I mean, those two things simplify so many different things when it comes to the whole vision creating process, actually living the life that you want. Garcia, you had something.
Yeah. So I didn't introduce myself last time. I'm Garcia.
No, I don't think you need to.
Right? So yeah, I agree. I think the traits that I notice the most in the successful members of our community, not just my group, but of the community as a whole, are the ones that do take action. I agree with that 100%. But also, I think the ones that trust the system, right? Because we're teaching them things that are completely different than the world teaches you, right? And so I think by trusting the system, they are open-minded enough to allow what we do here in Lifeonaire to take hold. And I think it's the more they get immersed into this way of thinking, the more that they're going to find the success. But also I would say the students or the members with the most success also are coachable. When the room or us as coaches come to them and say, hey, listen, what if we tried it this way? Or what if we looked at it from this angle? The ones that dig their heels in and say, nah, this is how I've always done it. My system's great. Don't tend to do as well as the ones that go, that's a good point. Let me look at that. And then take, at least take the time to look at it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. But what I found is that in the mastermind, if the whole room is telling you that it's one way and you're saying it's the other, the chances are that you're the wrong one, not the other 27 people in the room. So,
right. So I'm hearing
minded.
Yeah, I'm hearing being coachable means you're humble, right? And you're,
absolutely.
Your humility. Mm-hmm.
I think one thing Dave just touched on is the angle of people. And that kind of triggered something with me. Kathy has shown so much to me as far as the DISC test and things to that effect, where people, the way that they interpret stuff and the way that they come off with stuff is completely different from one person to another. And, whenever somebody says something to somebody, it may hit them in a way that it just puts them off, or it may really register with them. And with being inside of the groups, they get to see all these different styles. And, there's a lot of times that we walk into a retreat and have something that we want to share. How many times have you done that? You've walked into a retreat, had something to share, but by the time it got around to you,
somebody's already talked
your
about
share
it.
Already been talked about 3 different times, and you've already got a million answers. And but just seeing that dynamic of how different people, getting back to the DISC test, how different people register with different things and how they interpret different things, that it's quite amazing. And then that gives you more tools and equips you better out there in the outside world whenever you're on everyday life.
Hey guys, we get right back to our episode, but there's something really important I want to tell you about, and that is this. you don't have to choose between having a great life and a great business. You can have both. We have 2 different events, in fact, to help you do just that. Our Get a Life Getaway is our proven process. We've been doing this for just about 15 years now of walking you through the process of creating your own personal life vision, your Lifeonaire vision for the ideal life that you want to live. And by the way, this isn't pie in the sky approach to living. This is a tangible, strategic way to really figure out exactly what you have to do and what things have to be in place for you to live that vision, and so that you can make this a reality. Now, the second part of that component is, the second part of the formula is the Business Builder Workshop. So this is where now finally you can have a business that doesn't absolutely destroy your life, and you can make the money you want in the amount of time you want. You can have fun. It can fulfill vision element items. You can remove yourself from the day-to-day and the minutia, so you're only doing the things that are most enjoyable to you and that you're best at, right? Can you imagine what that would be like to get to enjoy and wake up every day loving what you get to do in your business and making money hand over fist? Like, that's just an amazing combination. So I want to encourage you to go to the Get a Life Getaway and the Business Builder Workshop, because they're really a 1-2 punch combination to help you get the ideal life and business that you dream about. Now, here's the even cooler part, Peter. We have a very special promo for them. Tell them about that.
Well, because you guys are a loyal listener, because you're listening to our podcast and listen to my English and his English all the time, here's what we have for you guys. Head over to lifeonaire.com, click on the events tab at the top of the page, pick the event that you want to go to the checkout page, and in the promo code area, type in podcast, 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 hit apply, and guess what you're going to get? You're going to get 50% off. That's 50% off the ticket price, the regular ticket price that majority of the people out there who don't listen to our podcast don't know about it yet get to pay, but you get to pay only 50% off. So head over there right now, get to this event, and I can't wait to meet you. Come up to us, say hi to us, introduce yourself, tell us you found us on the podcast. We would love to talk to you and show you how this vision process really creates miracles in people's lives.
And one last thing is, I don't know when you're listening to this episode right now, but I don't know how long we're going to keep this discount up. I don't know how long this promotion will be valid. So go and do it right now to make sure you get that 50% savings. We'll see you at an event soon. Let's get back to the episode. So I think what I'm hearing is, like, one of the foundational pieces here is your vision, which, by the way, to Brett's point and Jackie's point, is what can help you say no to all those other things, because now you have kind of like a clear document that's guiding you as a light post, and you look at that action, you look at that thing, and you're like, does this help me get closer to my vision or not? And you have a little bit more of an objective piece for that. And one thing I want to mention with that is, like, here's the interesting thing, is that something that you may have said yes to a month ago or a year ago now might be a no, because you have gotten so much closer to your vision that this thing doesn't match anymore. This is like business opportunities, for instance. Like, you guys have experienced this, where, something you would have begged for to have an opportunity like a year or two ago or longer, like now you're like, you got to say no, because it doesn't fit anymore. And you've moved on to a higher plane. And so when it comes to creating a vision, have you guys seen any, and maybe the answer is no, but have you seen any trends as far as, like, there's 2 approaches to this. One is, like, you shoot for the stars. You have this huge, incredibly, built out vision. Super, I'm going to have the G6 and the waterfront house in Maui and everything's perfect. And then some of the other people start off with a much more modest vision. And by the way, those people oftentimes come back again and again to the Get a Life to ratchet up the vision a little bit more at a time. Have you guys seen any patterns with that as to, like, which works better, or is it totally just really individual?
I personally think it has a lot to, sorry, Steve. I think it has a lot to do with the individuals. Like, some people only succeed when it feels reachable. So sometimes they have to start a little bit smaller, or others can put the big picture on there and they just keep driving forward to that big picture. And I think the other thing is, those that drive forward quicker aren't as conscious of when that plan has to change. So as they start moving forward, they thought they had a plan, and then it shifts to get to where they want, and they adapt to that fairly easily. Where others, oh my gosh, my plan isn't going as planned, they get stuck on the plan, right? Not the goal. And so that can put them in a standstill. So I wanted to just add too, is that when people think that being vulnerable is a weakness rather than a strength, it can hold them back. So as they read their vision and they start internally beating themselves up for not moving forward, they feel stuck, they don't share it. So as they begin to open up and share, they will go faster no matter what size their vision is. They will be able to go faster if they open up and share with the group where they're stuck, because they're not used to asking for help.
That's a great question, Kathy. And probably a lot of people that don't typically have the resources and the people that they can share that with, right? So they feel like they have to, they don't yet understand the climate, the culture, the community that they are in. And as you're talking, it actually, the visualization that I had is like, some people can look at their kitchen and they're like, we need a tile backsplash. And then they put the backsplash in, they're like, you know what? I think we need the cabinets. You know what? We need the countertops, and they piece by piece put their brand new kitchen together. Other people can see the whole new kitchen all at once. Hey, we want the island here. We want the, and so I guess you're right. There's like, I can totally see how that could,
And sometimes they want the easy button. It's not an easy button. Like this is not a one and done. This, you have to be able and willing to be intentional to get there. So some people sometimes saying, it's not here yet. Like, I'm so frustrated. You promised. And if it's relationship stuff, sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better, because you open up some of that stuff and they're like, oh, this is worse than before. I'm so mad at you. And I'm like, hang in there, right? So they have to be able to see and trust the process of their vision, because they think I wrote it down. You said if I read it, it's going to happen. Well, you are a player in the game, right? You have to be the one doing the work. And it's not as much the coaches are assisting you, but you are the boots on the ground, so to speak, right?
And we had a real realization with one of our members in our group. He was a salesman, and his son decided that he wanted to get into the business with him. And so he was very driven to build clientele and build these type of things for his son to get him into the business, get him started. So he was laser focused. And for 6 or 8 months, they were very driven to build clients and everything enough to sustain his son and just get this all going. Well, all of a sudden, his son decided that he was done, that he had gotten a job opportunity. And instead of doing this grind, he left and basically left the dad there with all of these new clients and everything. And so the dad came in and he was like, yeah, I've gotten all of these new clients and I've gotten all of this stuff and I can't handle it all. And we were like, well, that is the power, just like a vision, with it being completely separate from the vision. He's seen where his focus and how he was driven in that focus created all those new things, the new opportunities, even though it was a bad outcome in a way, but it showed how being focused and being intentional and then using the tools of a vision, that he was driven to do that. And all he had to do was make an adjustment in his vision, start using the tools, and then he could get himself right back out or implement it in a different way, which in the grand scheme of things, it benefited him drastically, because then he learned how to use the tools that were right there in front of him. And it just kind of took a completely reverse story to getting that away. Peter says it all the time with the where focus. How does it go, Peter? I'm going to butcher it up.
Well, I'm going to try to say it with your accent. Where focus goes, energy flows. Did that work? Not at all.
That was terrible. That was awful.
That was awful, yeah. But hey, you know what? Polish accent with focus. And I got this from Tony, because what William is selling is totally true. His example in that little story that he just shared, look where their focus was, right? And build this thing out. So be careful where you're focusing on. Be intentional on how you are focusing on different things in your life, because it's going to make a bigger difference. And that's why we talk about this vision all the time, because guess where we want your focus to be? On your vision, right? And what you focus on constantly goes. That's where all the energy goes. I feel like Halverson wanted to say something. Did you have something?
Yes. So I think many times, we use the analogy of, they don't know what they don't know. And so many times people have come in and they've got this grandiose vision. It's like, I want this, I want to hit 100, I want to hit whatever. And until it's kind of drawn out for them, we just had an example not too long ago. A new member came in and had all these huge expectations and aspirations of, where she wanted things to go. And it was only a couple of very, very short phone calls that we had, and completely flip-flops. You're like, what the heck am I thinking? That is not what I want at all. But it was, once again, the outside world is saying, hey, this is what you should do. And maybe it was a father that was suggesting, that's where you need to take your life. So in the desire to do what her father wanted, and very similar story for me. I kept a business going for 9 years, knowing I didn't want it. But my dad was so proud that I had that business. And it's like, I don't want to do it though. And finally just cutting bait with it and releasing myself from it, and, watching other people do that same thing. Just like, they cut bait, they release, they moved on, and they're living the life that they want now. And a lot of times that's just being more simplified, I think is the word that you might use, Peter.
Yep, simplify, not complexify. I know somebody else who uses that word sometimes. Okay, so listen, yeah, I love that conversation because we're just uncovering a whole bunch of different things as far as how people are reacting, how they are being, and, the vision and vulnerability. I think that's huge, by the way, vulnerability, because most of the time outside of this rooms here, they get judged like crazy, right? And they're able to actually come in and be vulnerable. I want to ask you something because I feel like people are sitting on this podcast right now and they're listening and thinking, and some of them might be like, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say, right? Because you're the coach, or because you're, whatever, special. I don't know, because you're Polish. I don't know, because you're got cool accent like William, or, I don't know. What would you guys say to them?
I think one of the things that I see a lot of times is they don't believe in themselves. They believe that you are on a higher pedestal than them. They don't know we've walked this journey also, right? So when I came in, if somebody wouldn't have believed in me, I would have never became a coach. It was not on my radar. I did not even ever think of doing something like that. And so I think once they get to feel somebody believing in them, they start to have more courage and they start to move forward, because when they hear our story, they're like, holy cow, you're a lot like me. Well, if you can do it, then I can do it. So in Lifeonaire, I think the coaches do get vulnerable with their students and tell them their own journey. And that's what sometimes can look different in Lifeonaire, because we're not afraid to share where we've been, right? We're not afraid to share the bumps that we've had in our roads. And that's why most of us are coaching, is because of where we've come. We want to share with the world that it's possible.
I love that. Yeah. Garcia?
I was just going to say that outside of our community, I see a lot of people, or talk to a lot of people that have, in my opinion, a fair amount of success. But they have that same thing, like, man, that's easy for you to say because, you're a coach or you have this or whatever. Right. And so what I would say is I would encourage anybody listening to this podcast that maybe feel that way, like, hey, well, it's easy for all you guys, I would say get a life. And the reason being is that I think at the Get a Life, you start to realize that you're in a room full of a lot of people just like yourself. And that, as Kathy was pointing out, that they start hearing these stories and realize that there is opportunity for them, that they really are, we are no different than they are. Right. And so I think it goes back to some of our earlier conversations. What does set us apart is our mindset, our taking action, our ability to be coachable, having a vision, a clear vision, I think is the key. But I would say, yeah, just get a life, because that's where you're going to, get some, get some awareness around not only what you want, but around, some of these limiting beliefs that you guys have.
Yeah, I love that what you just said, because at the Gear Life giveaway, one of the things that we do an exercise as far as like to help people see how much similar we are.
Yeah.
And when they finally recognize it and they see like, oh my God, I'm not that much different than everybody else. And it just completely changes how they perceive, like, because we feel like we're in the silo, like we're the only ones, and all those kinds of things. Brad, you had something.
Yeah, so sometimes we need to, ask the hard questions and get a little uncomfortable. We had a member that was working full time in the healthcare industry, and his goal was to have a huge portfolio of homes to replace his income. And because of the hours he was working, it was really a struggle for him. So it wasn't comfortable, but he went in and had the conversation with his employer. He was able to go down to 4 hours a week. He still had the same amount of hours, but he also,
4 days.
or 4 days, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But he also negotiated that while he was at work in between tasks, he could work on his real estate business. And within, I think, 6 months, he was able to locate and take down a large portfolio, and he worked himself out of a job. So there's always more than one way to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Kat, did you have something?
I was just going to say one of the most important things is to know your why.
Wow.
To know why you want to do what you want to do, not because you see somebody successful in it, but what draws you to that, right? Sometimes we look at money as the success point, and it's maybe not the type of work that you want to do, right? You may not like doing that kind of work, and then you fail because it's not built for you. Right. And so when you start to go into your why and who do I want to be and what things do I like, and make it to the point where you really feel it, success happens because you get in alignment with what yourself instead of chasing what everybody else has. Right. Or what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just get on the wrong path because of this. If I only had money, if I only had more money, if I only had this, or if I only had a girlfriend, or if I only had a boyfriend, or then life would be different. But first you got to get good with yourself. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. And that is huge as far as like the why and what you're talking about here, and realizing who you truly are, being your authentic self, right? Getting that. Jackie, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I mean, it started out with, because we're coaches, it's easy for us or whatever. And, here's the thing is the system that Lifeonaire provides through the vision and working through it is very, very simple. Anybody can do it. The problem is it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And that's where having a mastermind and a coach and accountability and all those things put together makes it easier. But again, going back to being coachable, having the right mindset, but those are all things that we have found that we're helping our members through. And that's what's launching their success. And it's not that we're any different just because we're coaches. It's just that we've already gone through that process. And we've taken those difficult things and made them easy and used the simple process, trusting the process, and then just moving forward. Literally anybody can live their vision. They just need to be willing to go through the simple steps and be accountable to that, and then be coachable in the end. So
I think what happens is as you get further along into your journey, you develop ways that when the obstacles come, you don't receive them the same way. You have a new way of handling your hardest times. And so they don't take you to your knees as much as they may have once done. You accept them as part of the process, and they help you grow because every time it happens, you're learning something, right? And so with the group, we're able to remind people of that and keep them on track, even when the stuff goes sideways or different things happen, because it's life. It's going to happen forever, even for coaches, right? There's bumps in the roads, even for coaches. But when you know how to handle it in a way that doesn't take you down or get you, furious or frustrated, you seem to be able to pick up the pieces and move past it quickly.
Guys, we have to wrap it, but I want to really thank all of you for contributing so much knowledge and wisdom, and obviously your heart for helping people is coming across as well. Certainly we can do another episode some other time, and there's no way we're going to unpack everything we have here in just 40 minutes. But for the listener right now who is maybe not in a place where you want to be, or you see the other side of where you'd like to go, but you're not quite there yet. I want to encourage you, like the things that the coaches are telling you are real. They're legit. They've seen them work. They're proven. These are things we've done with lots and lots of people that are no different than you or I or any of us. And so these are solid strategies and tactics that you can use starting today. Like the minute you finish listening to this episode, you can start doing some of this stuff and taking action. Come to a Lifeonaire Get a Life Getaway. Go to lifeonaire.com. You can find that out. If you want to get involved, and maybe you realize you need a coach to help you, go to lifeonaire.com/grow. We'll put that link in the show notes as well. And you can schedule a call with one of our success advisors, and we can have a discussion to see whether this is a good fit for you and if we can help. And lastly, of course, the biggest honor you could give us would be to share this with somebody else, to give us a thumbs up, give us a rating, because this is how we reach more people. And, we're all about changing lives within Lifeonaire. And my suspicion is that you're the same way and you like helping people as well. And the way you could do that is by sharing the podcast so we can reach more people and change communities and eventually the world. Hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Thank you to the coaches and thank you to the listener. We'll catch you guys soon. Take care.